Live from Radio City Music Hall in Rockefeller Center, the stars are gathering to celebrate Broadway's once-a-year Night of Nights, the Tony Awards. Arriving at the theater, the commanding Patrick Stewart, star of The Ride Down Mount Morgan. From Ladies' Man and Broadway Chicago, Sharon Lawrence. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Jack Wagner. The night's most glamorous winner, Dame Edna. Tony-nominated stars of Contact, Boyd Gaines and Deborah Yates. Musical actress nominee, the legendary Eartha Kitt. Her co-star on The Wild Party, nominee Mandy Patinkin. And their Tony-nominated co-star, Toni Collette. Nominated for Best Actor, Gabriel Byrne. Tony nominees from The Music Man, Craig Bierko and Rebecca Luker. She Vacation from Pine Valley and Annie Get Your Gun, Susan Lucci. Twice a Tony winner, Matthew Broderick. Coming home to Broadway from Will and Grace, Megan Mullally. A Tony nominee tonight, Oscar winner Christopher Walken. From the hit series Family Law, Dixie Carter. International film and stage actor-director Kenneth Branagh. Home to Broadway from Ally McBeal, Jane Krakowski. Tonight nominated from Kiss Me Kate, Brian Stokes Mitchell. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Rosie O'Donnell.
Welcome to the Tonys, now sit back and relax. I'm gonna use a song to tell you little known facts. You know lots of TV shows are filmed in LA, but did you know your favorite stars began on Broadway? There's a gal on Will and Grace named Megan Mullally. Did you know she started in the heart of Shubert Alley? Now she's playing Karen, full of charm, wit, and greed. But I saw her in Grease and also had her succeed. Bet you didn't know. I bet you didn't know. She did a Broadway show. Bet you didn't know. Not too long ago. She did a Broadway show. Bet you didn't know. She did a Broadway show.
This afternoon and bought some love insurance, a most exclusive dress from Gay Perry. It's sleek and chic and magnifique with sex beyond endurance. It's me, it's absolutely me. This irresistible Paris original I'm wearing tonight. Irresistible Paris original. This mass-produced crime I'm wearing tonight for the very last time.
Law and Order has a stunning Jesse L. Martin. I saw him in Rent way back when he was starting. He can solve a crime with barely breaking a sweat. But did you know that he can do a mean pirouette? You gotta hear him sing. You gotta hear him sing. He's gonna do his thing. You gotta hear him sing.
Open your door, I'll be your tenant. Don't got much baggage to lay at your feet. The sweet kisses I've got to spare, I'll be there and I'll cover you. I think they meant it when they said you can buy love. Now I know you can rent it and release you on my love, on life, oh my life.
She wore a bra on her face. You would think that overnight she became a success. Well, I saw her in Grand Hotel at Starlight Express. Started out on stage. Now she's all the rage. Started out on stage.
I want to be that girl in the mirror there. I want to be that girl with golden hair up on a silver screen most everywhere in the world. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to sing the blues I want to wear nice shoes and drink illegal booze in every late night spot for the jazz hot. I want a breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. If I'm a big box office winner there, I'll be the most well-known Berliner there ever was. I want to go to Hollywood. Oh, I want to go to Hollywood. Now you know, before TV, we were in musical comedy. Yes, it's true. Before LA, we started out on the gray white way. Who will win? What's ahead? Wild party, sweet talk, and go on the dead. What's ahead? Who will win? Let's let the Tony Awards begin.
The League of American Theaters and Producers and the American Theater Wing present the 54th Annual Tony Awards, starring Barry Bostwick, Kenneth Branagh, Matthew Broderick, Carol Burnett, Dixie Carter, Kathy Lee Gifford, Kelsey Grammer, Jane Krakowski, Sharon Lawrence, Susan Lucci, Jesse L. Martin, Megan Mullally, Bernadette Peters, Patrick Stewart, Jack Wagner, and Christopher Walken. And now, Nathan Lane and Rosie O'Donnell.
Welcome to the American Theater Wing's 54th Annual Tony Awards. Tonight, we give out 12 awards and hear 12 magnificent acceptance speeches and try to do it in 2 hours. We call it Mission Impossible 3. But Nathan, I gotta tell you, I'm thrilled that you could be my co-host.
Oh, no, you didn't read the fine print. I'm not your co-host. I'm just your special guest star, like the killer on Murder, She Wrote.
No, Nathan,
Oh,
no.
but I'm also in charge of valet parking, so I will pick up a few extra bucks.
No, Nathan, you're definitely my co-host.
Oh, really? Then how come I wasn't in the big opening number? Oh, I know why. It was about theater people who are successful on television.
No!
I forgot!
No, Nathan. I loved your sitcom. Of all the sitcoms about failed opera singers who moved to the Napa Valley and lived with their mother, yours was my favorite.
Thank
Really?
you.
Yes.
Well, you know what? You can call me anything you want. Co-host, special guest star, your imaginary friend, Miss Congeniality. Call me Ishmael. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad you are because the Tonys, as you know, Nathan, so exciting.
Oh, there is so much tension tonight. There's more tension than in Brian Dennehy's cummerbund.
That's right. More tension than Dr. Laura at a Fire Island clam bake.
Oh, yes. That's a lot of tension.
Yes, it
More
is.
tension than Bill Clinton trapped in the rumpus room at the Playboy Mansion.
You know, our first presenter generated his own brand of tension this season when he got into a small but public spat with the producers over how they advertised his show.
Yes.
Yes. Taking on the Schuberts, sort of like taking on the Sopranos.
Yeah. How true. Not only does Patrick Stewart have to issue a formal apology, he's been told that if he does it again, he'll be going where no man has gone before in a cement starship.
That's right. Here he is, the star of the ride down Mount Morgan, the humble and distinguished Patrick Stewart.
What can I say? Nothing. Broadway is justly proud of its revivals each season of major works of the theater. Last year, especially with Death of a Salesman, The Iceman Cometh, Elektra, and Twelfth Night. And this year, another slate of brilliant nominees for Best Revival of a Play.
Amadeus, Peter Schaffer's fascinatingly complex portrait of Antonio Salieri, an obscure Austrian court composer who, in a rage of hatred and envy, may very well have poisoned his outrageously gifted young rival, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. A Moon for the Misbegotten, a haunting Eugene O'Neill classic that centers around an all-night moonlit encounter between a tortured alcoholic actor and the Earth Mother-like Irish farm woman to whom he turns for solace. The price. In a dusty attic piled high with furniture, a pair of estranged brothers meet for the first time in years to divide up their late father's belongings and angrily to settle old family scores. By America's greatest living playwright, Arthur Miller. The Real Thing. Dazzlingly witty and yet also profoundly moving. This cascade of words by Tom Stoppard about a successful English playwright's search for the real thing in love and marriage has become recognized as a modern classic since it was first staged in London in the early 1980s.
And the American Theatre Wing's Tony Award goes to The Real Thing.
Producers, Anita Waxman, Elizabeth Williams, Ron Mastner, Miramax Films, and the Monmar Warehouse.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. From our bottom of our hearts, Elizabeth and I thank you all. I know. To our wonderful cast, our crew, we thank you so much. To everyone who's helped on this, the Schuberts, the Barrymore, our wonderful performers, we thank you. I'm shaking. Mr. Stoppard, to dear Tom, to giving us the privilege of producing what is a magnificent play and wonderful dialogue, and thank you, Tom, for this. And David, I don't know where you are, but thank you for your vision on this stage. On behalf of our producers, I'd like to say that it's a privilege to have been here to produce this. To the Donmar, our partners, Sam, it's a treat to be a partner with you, and to Carol Newing, who's up here, who is the hero of the Donmar Warehouse, without which we would not have the show. Thank you. I love my family, Al, Alexis,
Thank
my
you.
daughters.
Thank you.
The 54th Annual Tony Awards, sponsored by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor. And by Nice and Easy. It works with your own tones and highlights for beautiful natural color. Nice and Easy from Clairol, the true color of you.
You know, Nathan, there was a lot of controversy in the nominations this year. Did you know that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, lots of big stars felt snubbed by the nomination.
Yes, Michael Douglas, who recently married Catherine Zeta-Jones, felt terribly overlooked for Best Score. Oh, yeah. And Woody Harrelson should have been nominated for The Rainmaker, but he gave all the Tony voters complimentary hemp brownies, and they forgot they saw the show.
Not a good thing.
No.
No. You know, Nathan, I didn't want to say it, but frankly, I felt a little overlooked for a nomination this year.
Rosie, you weren't on Broadway this year.
Fine, side with them. Our first Tony-nominated musical is Unforgettable. Let's go downtown as a guy in a tux searches for a girl in a yellow dress in the simply irresistible Contact.
You wanna dance under the moonlight, kiss me, baby, all through the night. Oh, baby, do you wanna dance?
I told you I don't dance.
That's cool. But you know, my friend, the night is young.
And now, Dixie Carter. The star of CBS TV's popular Family Law, Miss Carter most recently appeared on Broadway in the Tony Award-winning Masterclass.
Thank you. Good evening. In the 1970s, I did some exciting plays for Joe Papp down at the Public Theater. In one unforgettable piece, I was featured in the top of the second act as the chained woman. Well, I just couldn't wait for Joe to see me in all that leather. So on the first preview night he came, he walked into the theater. He watched the first act. He walked out of the theater and he closed that play at intermission, leaving the chained woman hanging, so to speak. We did not make it to Broadway. We did not make it to the second act. Plus, I am not the only person here tonight who was in that thing. Mandy Patinkin was in it too. He just doesn't put it in his bio. This season, 4 Broadway productions that together racked up 18 Tony nominations: Contact, James Joyce's The Dead, The Green Birds, and Dirty Blonde, were first done off-Broadway, and in fact, 3 of tonight's 5 nominees for Best Featured Actor in a Play originally played their roles off-Broadway. And the nominees are Kevin Chamberlain for Dirty Blonde, Daniel Davis for Wrong Mountain, Roy Dotrice for A Moon for the Misbegotten, Derek Smith for The Green Bird, and Bob Stillman for Dirty Blonde. And the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play goes to Roy Dotrice, A Moon for the Misbegotten.
This is Mr. Dotrice's first Tony Award.
Well, I want to thank my beloved wife, Kay, who for the last 53 years has been constantly at my side, pulling me up by the bootstraps whenever I suffered rejection. And just 4 years before I met Kay, I was in a German prisoner of war camp. And there, for the first time, I came in contact with Americans. I found them to have a unique ability, the ability not to envy, but to applaud other people's success. And it was then that I fell in love with Americans and America. And that love affair has gone on through the years, and I would like to think is epitomized by this gift from you tonight, which I would like to think of as a token of our mutual affection. I hope you will allow me to share whatever talent I have with you in the years to come in this country, in this wonderful country. God bless America.
Earlier this evening, the Tony for Best Choreography was awarded to Susan Stroman for Contact.
You know, dance has lifts and dips and unexpected turns, just as real life does. Had I not fallen in love with Mike Ockrent, I could have never written Contact. I will be forever grateful to him. This award is more special than you'll ever know. Thank you very much. I'm honored.
Coming up when the Tonys continue on CBS, from Kiss Me Kate, Cole Porter's Too Darn Hot.
We're back. You know, it's time for our first musical revival. Nathan, you're about to do a revival, The Man Who Came to Dinner, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and you'll be doing it at the new American Airlines Theater.
Oh, yes.
An airline is building a theater. That's exciting.
Oh, very exciting, but there are some differences.
Yeah.
For example, halfway through the play, they will be showing a movie. And if you leave anything at the coat check, there is a chance it could be rerouted through St. Louis.
Right.
But the good news is plenty of free peanuts.
Stow your tray tables, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go from the Tony-nominated revival of Cole Porter's classic, Kiss Me, Kate, It's Too Darn Hot.
It's too darn hot. I'd like to call on my baby tonight. And I'd give my all to my baby tonight. I'd like to call on my baby tonight and give my all to my baby tonight. But I can't play ball with my baby tonight. Too darn hot. It's too darn hot. Oh, it's too darn hot. I'd like to coo with my baby tonight and pitch the woo with my baby tonight. I'd like to coo to my baby tonight and pitch the woo with my baby tonight. But brothers, you'll bite my baby tonight 'cause it's too darn hot. According to the Kinsey report, every average man you know much prefers to play his favorite sport when the temperature is low. But when the thermometer goes way up and when the Mr. Gob for his squab, a Marine for his queen, a GI for his cutie pie is not. 'Cause it's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. It's too darn hot. Man, it's hot.
And now, Christopher Walken. Nominated tonight for James Joyce's The Dead.
Thank you. Tonight's 5 nominees for Best Featured Actress in a Play each had an actor's dream come true. The chance to play a role written by a master playwright. For their plays are the works of Chekhov, Arthur Miller, Noel Coward, Michael Frayn, and Tom Stoppard. And the nominees are Blair Brown for Copenhagen, Francis Conroy for The Ride Down Mount Morgan, Amy Ryan for Uncle Vanya, Helen Stenborg for Waiting in the Wings, and Sarah Woodward for The Real Thing. And the Tony goes to Blair Brown.
This is Miss Brown's first Tony Award.
Thank you. Spencer Tracy said that acting was about listening, first and foremost. I have the great good fortune and pleasure 8 times a week to listen to 2 remarkable actors, Philip Bosco and Michael Comsty. When you do a play that has 3 actors and 3 chairs, you get to know each other really well and depend on each other. This is for all of us. I'm going to keep this at my house, but this is for all 3 of us. Michael Frayn wrote a beautiful, intriguing, funny, profoundly moving play. 2-time Tony Award winner Michael Blakemore directed it with such elegance and insight and good humor. Peter Davison gave us a set that is a universe to us. It's deceptively simple. And the 4th character in the play, Paul Huntley, gave me a wig that told me something I never knew about my character before. Roger Berlin, Liz McCann, the Nederlanders, and Scott Rudin were brave enough and mad enough to bring it to Broadway. I thank them and my son Robert Jordan, who puts up with all of this. Thank you.
The Tony for Best Original Score, Music and Lyrics, was won earlier tonight by Elton John and Tim Rice for Aida. A special Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement in the Theater was presented earlier tonight to T. Edward Hambleton, founder of the Phoenix Theater. Coming up on the 54th Annual Tony Awards, Susan Lucci, Bernadette Peters, and Kelsey Grammer. The 54th Annual Tony Awards, sponsored by Schweppes and your local Schweppes bottler. Schweppes, just a little more taste. And by Nissan, driven.
Our next presenter is one of the slew of TV stars who have come to Broadway this season.
Susan Lucci took over for Bernadette Peters last Christmas, and Annie, get your gun.
Making herself eligible for another award she won't win for 18 years.
That is true, Nathan, but she will look damn good at the pre-show. Please welcome Emmy Award winner, Susan Lucci.
Thank you and good evening. I am so honored to be with you this evening, and I'm so happy to have made my Broadway debut this year in Annie, Get Your Gun. Thank you. And so now I have an even deeper appreciation for what tonight's gifted nominees for Best Featured Actor in a Musical had to go through to get exactly where they are. And they are Michael Buress for Kiss Me, Kate. Boyd Gaines for Contact. Michael Mulhern for Kiss Me, Kate. Stephen Spinella for James Joyce's The Dead. And Lee Wilkoff for Kiss Me, Kate. And the American Theater Wing's Tony goes to the best performance by a featured actor in a musical is Boyd Gaines from Contact.
This is Mr. Gaines' 3rd Tony Award. He previously won for the Heidi Chronicles in 1989 and She Loves Me in 1994.
Well, as president of the Lucky Club, I'd first like to thank Susan Stroman and John Weidman for their incredible artistry and passion, and for giving me the honor of being in an amazing ensemble of dancing actors. They are my heroes, and especially Deborah Yates, who saved my ass 8 times a week. All the folks at Lincoln Center, Andre Bishop and Bernie Gersten, and especially our crews, Chris Peterson, Tara Young, Ellen Flack, my family, especially my wife, Kathleen, and my favorite dancer in the world, my daughter, Leslie. Daddy dancing. The Tonys have been very kind to me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the board of the American Theater Wing, Miss Isabel Stevenson.
Thank you very much. I first volunteered to work for the American Theater Wing more than 40 years ago, and little did I know then that it would become my full-time second career. And what a rewarding one it has been. We're proud of the Wing's year-round programs, and here to tell you a little bit about them is Tony Award winner Barry Boswick. Barry?
Thank you, Isabel. Ever since it was founded way back in 1917, the American Theater Wing has passionately dedicated itself to introducing everyone, and especially young people, to the joys of live theater. This dedication is reflected nowadays in its many programs, among them Wing-produced TV seminars on which panels of Broadway stars like Patrick Stewart, Brian Dennehy, and here Nicole Kidman talk about working in theater. Arranging for high school students to go to Broadway shows and meet with cast members such as Brian Batt of Saturday Night Fever. And sending Tony nominees like Karen Ziemba of Contact to high schools to talk to eager young performing arts students about life upon the wicked and wonderful stage. All of us who work in the theater owe a great debt of gratitude to the American Theater Wing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So that's what the American Theater Wing does.
Gee, I thought it was all potluck dinners in the Hamptons.
No, apparently not.
Well, be sure to look for Isabel and Barry next season in the revival of Harold and Maude.
A landmark will be achieved in September when the longest-running show in the history of Broadway, Cats, closes.
And if you've got a little bit of extra love to give, we're looking for a good home for Rum Tum Tugger and his 17-year-old friends.
Oh, yes, they come freshly flea-dipped, neutered, and spayed.
Just like Bob Barker.
Exactly. From Andrew Lloyd Webber's oldest show on Broadway to his newest, here is the Tony-nominated revival of Jesus Christ Superstar.
And break me, bleed me, beat me, kill me. Take me now, before I change my mind. Now, before I change my mind.
I don't understand why you let the things you did get so out of hand. You'd have managed better if you'd had a plan. Now why'd you choose such a backward time in such a strange land? If you'd come today, you would have reached the whole nation. Israel in 4 BC had no mass communication. Could you get me wrong? Could you get me wrong? Could you get me wrong? Don't you get me wrong? All I wanna know. What I wanna know, all I wanna know, I only want to know.
Jesus Christ, who are you, what have you sacrificed? Jesus Christ, superstar, do you think you're what they say you are?
The Tony for Best Book of a Musical was won earlier this evening by Richard Nelson for James Joyce's The Dead.
I share this award, this honor, with Sean Davey and his wonderful, glorious music, my extraordinary cast, my designers, Sean Kern, choreographer, Charlie Prince, musical director, Ariel Tepper for having the guts to move this show to Broadway, and Gregory Mosier, my good friend. Thank you very, very much.
Coming up when the Tonys continue on CBS, Carol Burnett, and from Meredith Willson's The Music Man, 76 trombones.
In the leading actress category, two of the nominees, Rosemary Harris and Jennifer Ely, are mother and daughter.
Oh, I love that. It's like Chinatown. Which of you is nominated for a Tony? My mother, my daughter, my mother, my daughter, my mother. It's my mother and my daughter.
To present the award, a two-time Tony Award winner, the one and only Mr. Matthew Broderick.
Thank you and good evening. A landmark moment. As Rosie and Nathan pointed out, for the first time in the 54-year history of the Tonys, two of the nominees in the same category are mother and daughter. The mother, yes, you can clap. The mother wants her daughter to win, the daughter wants her mother to win, and the other three nominees would be just as happy if neither of them win. So, let's see. The five nominees are Jane Atkinson for The Rainmaker, Jennifer Ely, the daughter, for The Real Thing, Rosemary Harris, her mother, for Waiting in the Wings, Cherry Jones for A Moon for the Misbegotten, and Claudia Schiffer for Dirty Blonde. And the Tony for Best Actress goes to Jennifer Ely, The Real Thing.
This is Miss Ely's first Tony Award.
Oh my goodness. What a homecoming. Thank you. Thank you. This play I love. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, David, for nudging me out of the borders repeatedly, and all your support, and Stephen and all of the cast and everybody you saw up here earlier receiving Best Revival. Thank all of them. But most of all, I wouldn't be standing anywhere at all if it weren't for my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful parents. And thank you for teaching me to walk and to talk and to read. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Thank you very much.
Best revival of a musical is a legendary show about a smooth talker who turns an entire town upside down with double talk and flim-flammery.
Hillary Clinton?
Watch it.
Oh, no, it's not. We love Hillary. It's about Harold Hill, otherwise known as the central character in the knockout revival of Meredith Willson's The Music Man.
76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun, with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottom timpani and horse platoon, thundering, thundering all along the way. Double-bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having its big fat say. There were 50 mounted cannon in the battery, thundering, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who'd improvise a full octave higher than the score.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Burnett. Everyone's favorite funny lady. She was back on Broadway this season in Putting It Together.
Thank you and good evening. One of the great joys of New York theater going is revisiting some of the most wonderful musicals of Broadway's past brand new multi-million-dollar productions that star gifted newcomers stepping into roles that were made famous decades ago by performers such as Robert Preston, Mary Martin, Alfred Drake. The torch has been passed. The theater goes on and ain't Broadway grand. This year's 4 nominees for Best Revival of a Musical are Jesus Christ Superstar, Kiss Me Kate, Meredith Willson's The Music Man, Tango Argentino. And the year 2000 Tony goes to Kiss Me, Kate.
Producers Roger Berland and Roger Horchow.
Thank you, William Shakespeare, Cole Porter, Bella and Sam Spiewak, and special thanks to our 2-time Tony winner and marvelous director Michael Blakemore, and the young, gifted, and talented and inspirational Kathleen Marshall.
Thank you. We want to thank our great design team, Robin Wagner, Marty Pakaldinas, and Peter Kaczorowski. And Paul Gemignani, there is no category for musical direction, but you have been a critical part of this creative team from the very beginning, and your fabulous orchestra does great justice to Tom Zabesky's Tony Award-winning orchestrations. Finally, the cast, great cast and crew, led by Brian Stokes Mitchell and the amazing Marin Mazey. We love you all. Thank you so much.
The Tony for Best Direction of a Musical was awarded earlier this evening to Michael Blakemore for Kiss Me, Kate. Tony honors for excellence in theater were presented earlier tonight to Eileen Heckert, Sylvia Hersher, and City Center's Encores, Great American Musicals in Concert. Coming up when the Tonys continue, the cast of The Wild Party, led by Tony nominees Mandy Patinkin and Toni Collette. The 54th Annual Tony Awards, sponsored by New Dove Invisible Solid Antiperspirant, maximum strength protection that cares for your skin. And by Visa, the exclusive card of the Tony Awards. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Welcome back. We're about to present the award for lead actor in a play, and what's unusual in this category is that 2 of the nominees, Philip Seymour Hoffman and John C. Reilly, in the play True West, switch roles every other night.
Wow. Just for fun, you want to try switching roles right now?
Yeah?
Yeah?
I'll be you, you be me?
Exactly, go ahead.
Okay, sure. You know, my kids are such cutie patooties. Yesterday, they dressed me up as a koosh ball and threw me at Tom Cruise. I found it highly enjoyable.
That's good. That's very good. All right, now I'll be you, okay? How's my beard?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathy Lee Gifford.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. The 5 actors nominated tonight for Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Play are each appearing in plays that had been done earlier in award-winning productions starring the likes of Jason Robards Jr., Jeremy Irons, John Malkovich, and Sir Ian McKellen. And so it is a real tribute to tonight's nominees that critics and audiences alike have hailed their performances as the finest ever in their roles. They are Gabriel Byrne for A Moon for the Misbegotten. Stephen Delane for The Real Thing. Philip Seymour Hoffman for True West. John C. Reilly for True West. And David Suchet for Amadeus. And the American Theater Wing's Tony goes to Stephen Delane, The Real Thing.
This is Mr. Delane's first Tony Award.
Wow. God, it's big. I'm just very happy to be here. We're all very happy to be here in New York, all the company, The Real Thing. It's turned out for it to be a very good night for us. It's been a huge adventure for all of us to just be on Broadway. I'd like to thank everybody, both in England and America, who's been associated with that. Your contributions have all been indispensable. Thank you, New York, for your generosity. Thank you.
Nathan, if I told you that the next thing you're about to see is an excerpt from a show with nudity, drugs, violence, alcoholism, racism, misogyny, you'd say...
Ooh, a very special Dawson's Creek.
But you'd be wrong, Broadway breath, because here comes those kooky jazz babies of the roaring 20s, Toni Collette, Eartha Kitt, Mandy Patinkin, and a lot of other people who will do almost anything to have a good time.
Oh, is George W. Bush coming?
Absolutely not. Please welcome the Wild Party.
Queenie was a blonde and her age stood still, and she danced twice a day in the vaudeville.
How's about a wild party tonight?
Tonight. Put out the news, we got a high party. Put out the word and go and order the ice. We sure could use a little fun. Lover, when was the last time I wore my new backless? When was the last time you smiled? When was the last time we had a real party? Wet and wicked, fast time, fun and wild.
I think we're due to have a big party. If baby wants to get a huge shebang, you know that I'm off for a wild party. We'll round up all the old gang.
And maybe some new blood will turn up to play. Bomb!
We can always use new skin.
I could always use someone fresh and tan and thin.
We're out of gin.
You win.
I mean...
Welcome to my party, glad you stumbled in. Welcome to my party, baby, where's the ice? Who here's up for dancing, who here's new? Welcome to my party, who the hell invited you? You're here because you love me. Don't I know it? Yeah, I know. You're here because you love me. And cause the booze is cheap and the lowdown's low. Wanna get cream, wanna get you, wanna get wild. Follow me, follow me, follow me.
So, you think the party's gonna last forever, and you'll always fly this high, but that depends. The higher the high, the harder you're gonna crash back down when it ends. Beauty won't matter, and brains won't matter when the world falls apart one cold and starving night. It won't matter, and love won't matter if you ain't got the balls to fight that one last fight. I can tell you that no party lasts forever. I've been there and there and there and seen enough. So you better hope to Jesus or Mohammed or whatever that you've got the right stuff when it ends.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kelsey Grammer. The popular star of Frasier will soon be appearing on Broadway in no less a role than Macbeth in Macbeth.
Tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace. But not tonight. Tonight I'm moving right along to announce the 4 nominees for Best New Play of the Year, which are Copenhagen by Michael Frayn, who has written, my play is about a mystery. Why the German physicist Werner Heisenberg went to Copenhagen in 1941 to see his Danish counterpart, Niels Bohr. They had revolutionized atomic physics in the 1920s, but now Bohr was a staunch anti-Nazi, while Heisenberg was secretly in charge of Hitler's attempt to develop an atomic bomb. Why did Heisenberg go? Can we ever know why others do what they do? Or why we ourselves do what we do? Dirty Blonde by Claudia Schiffer, who explains that Dirty Blonde is about obsession. Joe and Charlie, 2 lonely New Yorkers, are obsessed with Mae West, who had their favorite quality, attitude. Mae West succeeded and survived because she was obsessed with herself, willed herself into becoming a star. Paradoxically, it is this invulnerable shell of glamour behind which Mae West hid that helps Joe and Charlie to overcome their fears, to connect, to be brave enough to see someone as they are, to let them see you, and to find a way to love one another. The Ride Down Mount Morgan by Arthur Miller, who has described his own play for us. A wealthy insurance executive crashes his car in an upstate New York snowstorm and wakes up in a hospital to be greeted by both his beloved second wife and his beloved first wife, neither of whom had previously been aware that he'd been maintaining 2 happy but separate families. Loving both his wives, he insists on living out his true nature in a play by turns serious and outrageous that strips bare the conventional view of married life. True West by Sam Shepard. The setting is 40 miles east of L.A. Sam Shepard has written about True West, a place where everybody had the itch to find something better for themselves but just got stuck instead. And that's where these 2 brothers meet up. I wanted to write a play about double nature, to give a taste of what it feels like to be two-sided. It's a real thing, double nature. I think all of us are split in a much more devastating way than psychology can ever reveal. And the Tony for Best Play of the Year goes to Copenhagen.
Producers, Michael Codron, Lee Dean, the Royal National Theatre, James M. Niederlander, Roger Berlin, Scott Rudin, and Elizabeth I. McCann.
Oh, lovely. You can have it. Congratulations. Well, Michael Blakemore and Blair Brown have already made all our thank yous, particularly to our recklessly brave producers putting this show on Broadway. But I'd like to say one more thank you, and that's to the audiences who came to see it. People said when it started, even the reviewers who liked the show, they said Broadway audiences will never stand for this kind of thing. Well, they have, and I thank them. I'd also like to say thank you to Michael Blakemore. This is the 6th show we've done together, and I can't tell you what pleasure it gives me that he's got the award for this tonight and done the double. We're both pleased, I think, that this show has struck a chord because we both feel that it's a story that can only be told by live actors in front of a live audience in the living theatre. So, thank you.
As you see, we have a lot of producers, and I drew the short straw. So my job is to say thank you on behalf of the Royal National Theatre, two distinguished London producers, Michael Codron and Lee Dean, and Scott Rudin, Liz McCann, of course, Jimmy Niederlander, who's here, Charlene is here, and Ray Larson, John Platt, and Byron Goldman, who is not with us anymore, but thank you all. We're very appreciative.
Earlier tonight, the Tony for Best Direction of a Play was awarded to Michael Blakemore for Copenhagen.
Well, all I can say is thank you, America. And of course, by America, I mean New York. And by New York, I mean Broadway. Because along the street, I've had some of the most exhilarating experiences in my career, had some of the most fruitful collaborations, and made some of my staunchest and very best friends.
A special Tony Award for a live theatrical event was presented earlier this evening to Dame Edna, the Royal Tour. Coming up when the Tonys continue on CBS, the Company of Swing swings to Sing, Sing, Sing. The 54th Annual Tony Awards, sponsored by Nice and Easy. It works with your own tones and highlights for beautiful natural color. Nice and Easy from Clairol, the true color of you.
Hey.
What? Oh, you know, before we go on,
Yeah.
I think we should share our town's other big news. The NRA is opening up a theme restaurant in Times Square.
Thank goodness, Nathan. If there's one thing New York needs, it's more gun enthusiasts.
Oh,
you know
yes.
what I mean?
Oh, yes,
What are
yes.
they going to call it? TGI shot you.
Yeah. The house specialty is the concealed meatloaf.
You have the God-given right to free refills.
The tables are shaped like chalk outlines.
Try the roast duck and cover.
Check your toupee, Mr. Heston.
And now, from the Tony-winning revival of Chicago and the CBS series Ladies' Man, here is Sharon Lawrence.
Thank you, and I'm so excited to be here this evening. And the other evening, I wanted to go to Copenhagen, but I couldn't because I'm in Chicago. And Chicago is in New York, the show, I mean, the musical that I'm doing. And Copenhagen is actually a play in New York by way of London. And life is very confusing. Nonetheless, I am very delighted to present the Tony for the Best Leading Actor in a Musical to one of these 5 gorgeously talented gentlemen. The nominees are Craig Bierko for Meredith Willson's The Music Man, George Hearn for Putting It Together, Brian Stokes Mitchell for Kiss Me, Kate, Mandy Patinkin for The Wild Party, and Christopher Walken for James Joyce's The Dead. And the American Theater Wing's Tony goes to Brian Stokes Mitchell, Kiss Me, Kate.
This is Mr. Mitchell's first Tony Award.
Oh, I'm all verklempt. Thank you so much. Thank you
Roger Berlin, Roger Harchow, for assembling such an incredible family. Michael Blakemore, Kathleen Marshall, John Guare, for your incredible hands and wonderful love that you have guided us with. To my incredible co-star, Marin Mazey, you are phenomenal. I love you. I would not be standing here without you. Our cast, our crew, our musicians, my own family, my wife Allison for riding the roller coaster and holding on for dear love, my father who is here with me, my mother who is here with me somewhere, and the rest of my family, and also to the teachers who share the stage with me every night, Warren Barrigian, Hank Baring, Sal Dano, there's so many of them. Please, people, support the arts in your schools, because it is through the arts that we realize that we are all one. Thank you so much for this great honor.
Rosie.
What?
Rosie, did you feel that?
No, what?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire just went off the air. I think viewership is shifting.
I think you're right. Our next Tony-nominated Best Musical is shaking the rafters every night. You're about to see why. Here comes the singers, the dancers, the boys and girls. Swing.
And now, Jack Wagner. Starring on Broadway in not one, but two leading roles, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Good evening. So playing two characters of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I've been called two-faced, if you will, a split personality. But I am in all of both ladies who sing and dance, and so I look with equal admiration on all five of tonight's gifted nominees for Best Performance by a featured actress in a musical. The nominees are Laura Benanti for Swing, Anne Hampton Calloway for Swing, Eartha Kitt for The Wild Party, Deborah Yates for Contact, and Karen Ziemba for Contact. And the 2000 Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Musical goes to Karen Ziemba for Contact.
This is Miss Ziemba's first Tony Award.
Mom and Dad, thanks for sending me to those ballet lessons. They really paid off this year. Oh, thank you to Lincoln Center Theater, Bernie and Andre, for giving Contact a home and making it a great workplace for my cast and crew who turn it out every night. They really do, especially my two leading men, Jason Antoon, David McGillivray. I'd be lost without you. Much love. And thanks to my director, Susan Stroman, who has been my mentor and guiding light for practically my whole career. And thank you, John Weidman, for your beautiful spare words that have said so much. Thanks for both of you for creating this incredible piece of theater. And much love to my husband, Bill, my friends and family who've been so supportive. And I am so proud to be working in the live theater. There is nothing like it. Thank you.
Earlier tonight, Tony Awards for Best Costume Design were won by Martin Pakladinas for Kiss Me Kate. Best Lighting Design by Natasha Katz for Aida. And Best Scenic Design by Bob Crowley for Aida. Coming up when the 54th Annual Tonys continue, Kenneth Branagh and the award for Best Performance by a Leading Actress in a Musical. The 54th Annual Tony Awards. Sponsored by Lincoln, American Luxury. And by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor.
We're back. You know, next season looks like a great one, and so many musicals have been adapted from interesting sources in the last few years. You know, hit movies, becoming big musicals, Footloose, Saturday Night Fever. You know, next season, we're having the Full Monty.
Really?
Yes. Where size really will matter.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it will.
Yes, and look forward to Tommy Toon's fascinating new show, Boys Don't Tap.
That's good.
And then, of course, there's the Riverdance interpretation of John Travolta's latest film, Battlefield Mirth.
Featuring the L. Ron Hubbard clog dancers.
I'm a clog dancer, but I love fly fishing. I'm a clog dancer, but I love extreme sports.
That made us laugh last night after 2 bottles of wine. Our last nominated Best Musical is based on a great piece of Irish literature, James Joyce's The Dead.
Not to be confused with South Park's The Dead.
Ah, Faith and Begorra, they killed Kenny.
They've finished their run on Broadway, but will soon open July 11th at the Amundsen Theater in Los Angeles.
Here is the delightfully lively James Joyce's The Dead.
The Mrs. Morkan's annual Christmas party was always a great musical affair. Never once did it fall flat. For 30 years there was a party, and for 30 years everyone sang and everyone danced.
I believe this is one you'll all know.
What
you going to do? It's the Parnell song.
Oh, no. Aren't we tired of simplistic patriotism? I hate this song. It's mindless.
I love it.
Do you now? What a surprise.
Who fears to speak of Parnell's plight? Who blushes at the name? When cowards mock our patriots' fight?
Who hangs his head in shame? Who hangs his head in shame? He's all a knave and half a slave who slights his country thus. But a true man like you, man, will fill your glass with us. Will fill your glass with us. Some on the shores of distant lands their weary hearts have paid, and by the strangers' heedless hands that lonely graves were made. Their lonely graves were made. But though their clay be far away beyond the Atlantic foam, to you men I say, men,
For Christ's sake, don't come home.
For Christ's sake, don't come home.
The words as I know them.
We owe our duty to Ireland, and we hold her honor in our hand. Through low and high, let come all free men make a stand.
off to the shores of distant lands, the weary hearts they bear, to work all day with callous hand for a wage both good and fair, for a wage both good and fair. With wives abandoned like the mist, with babies left behind, the humanity I speak, watch out before you rot, watch out before you rot, I'm telling you that. We owe a duty to Ireland, and we hold her honor in our hand. Through low and high, let come all free men make a stand. To Ireland, and we hold her honor in our hand. Through low and high, let come all free men make a stand. To Ireland, and we hold her honor in our hand. Through low and high, let come all free men make a stand. Ah, six-handing! Six-handing! Mary Jane!
Around here.
And now, Kenneth Branagh. The distinguished British actor and director, his brand new work is a musicalized film version of Shakespeare's Love's Labour's Lost.
Good evening, and thank you. I'm here this evening to present the award for Best Performance by a Leading Actress in a Musical. And although Love's Labour's Lost is my first foray into the world of musicals, I'm able to say with absolute conviction that tonight's nominees for this award are 5 of the most gifted performers working these days in the American musical theatre. The nominees are Toni Collette for The Wild Party, Heather Headley for Aida, Rebecca Luker for Meredith Wilson's The Music Man, Marion Maisy for Kiss Me Kate, and Audra McDonald for Marie Christine. And the American Theatre Wing's Tony Award goes to Heather Headley for Aida.
This is Miss Headley's first Tony Award.
Two years ago, I sat in the back of this theater with Lion King, wondering when it would be my turn to sit up here, and much less be on this stage. So I have a few people to thank. First to begin, I want to thank the women in my category. I thank you so much. I've always maintained that you've been good teachers, and I thank you again tonight. I thank Disney. I could not have done this without you. I love you so much, and I'll work for you for the rest of my life. I will. I also thank you for giving me the best cast in the world. This is our Tony. Belongs to us. I want to thank Janet Lauer, Bona Brian Brown, my mommy, and my brother. And last and certainly not least, I thank God for every blessing He has given me, especially this one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Earlier tonight, the Tony for Best Orchestrations was won by Don Sebesky for Kiss Me Kate. And a special Tony for Regional Theater was presented to the Utah Shakespearean Festival. Coming up when the Tony Awards return, the presentation of tonight's final award, Best New Musical of the Year.
How many jokes do we have to do?
All right, we're on. It's time for Best New Musical. You've seen them all. Who will get the Tony? Will it be wild or swinging? Will we make contact with the dead? What's your prediction, Nathan?
I see dead people. Singing and dancing and facing upstage.
Well, please don't worry about it, because here's somebody to clear it all up. The star of Annie Get Your Gun, Tony Award winner Bernadette Peters.
The big moment, the final moment, Best New Musical of the Year. A Tony that was first awarded 51 years ago in 1949 to the original production of Kiss Me Kate, and that has gone on to be presented to almost all of the greatest musicals of the past half century. From My Fair Lady, to A Chorus Line, to Phantom of the Opera, to last year's winner, Fosse. And now, one of these four musicals will join their select company. Producers of tonight's nominees, take a deep breath. It's only money. The nominees are Contact, James Joyce's The Dead, Swing,
Welcome to my party, glad you still.
The Wild Party.
Party, baby, where's the ice? Who here's up for dancing? Who here's new? Welcome to my party.
And the best new musical of 2000 is Contact.
Producers Lincoln Center Theater, Andre Bishop and Bernard Gersten.
Thank you. We are very delighted, we are very pleased, we are very relieved, and we are very, very grateful to all of you. The idea of doing a show together began with a phone conversation between two people who really didn't know each other at all, and ended up a year and a half later with Contact. And for that, I thank Susan Stroman. I will love you all my life.
Contact is very much a work of love, and the love that permeates this company, this glorious company, that makes them the true acrobats of the gods, is what gives great pleasure to everyone who comes to the theater, the 1,000 strong, every evening. And our debt to Stroman and to Weidman, to the designers, to the stage managers, to the backstage crew and the front of the house crew, to the wonderful staff of Lincoln Center Theater and the adorable and very beloved board of directors of Lincoln Center Theater, is what keeps our theater alive. Thanks, Tony voters. Thanks, Andre, for having the brilliance of making that initial phone call a true eureka in the bathtub idea. And thanks to everyone here tonight. Finally, I got to have the last word. Good night, everyone.
Done, and we've done it. We're actually under. We have something to say about Fran and Barry Weissler that may seem redundant to you in the house. But as I said, we do have to stretch. I don't want to call them cheap producers, but look for their road productions of
Guy and Doll,
Cat,
and Grand Hotel 6.
You guys have been wonderful. We thank you for letting us appear on your program. We will see you next year. Come to New York, see a Broadway show. You won't regret it. Good night.
Travel provided by Continental, proud to be the official airline of Broadway. Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right.
Is the biggest night in the theater.
Thank you. The result of working so hard for something that you love so much.
Oh, this is just spectacular, spectacular! Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
This is one of the great moments of my life.
It has taken me 42 years to climb those 8 steps. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I'm going home now in fame.
A testament to the determination and talent which abound in the American theater.
This one's for you, Bobby.
The first 10 awards. Tony's 2000. The American Theater Wing's 54th Annual Antoinette Perry Awards. Starring Nathan Lane and Rosie O'Donnell. Anne Reinking and Bebe Neuwirth, Kristen Chenoweth and Dame Edna, and Al Pacino. And now, live from Radio City Music Hall in New York City, your host for the evening, Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie, it's not folks. I'm all you've got, folks. No need for TV stars, it's only PBS. Still don't be sour, give us an hour. Then you'll see TV stars, we switch to CBS. Hosting the show, I'm back at the top. I feel the ratings starting to drop. Forget the remotes, folks. Here come the votes, folks. Tony's awarded left and right. Talk shows tomorrow. American Theater Wing Antoinette Perry Awards. Tonight.
I was ready!
I'm sorry.
I was ready. You know, Nathan?
Here, let me help you.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. Rosie O'Donnell! You know, I usually get dinner and a show before I take off the ropes. Hello. and welcome. I'm Nathan Lane.
And I'm Rosie O'Donnell. Welcome to the first hour of the 54th Annual Tony Awards. You know, Nathan, tying me up was really funny, but frankly, it was chafing a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we have to suffer for our art.
Yes.
You know, the Tony is the theater's most coveted award. The one every actor, director, and writer dreams of winning one day, unless he's heard of the Oscars.
The first awards celebrate excellence in musical theater.
Best choreography, best original score, best book of a musical, and best orchestrations.
Now let's meet some of the people who make Broadway sing and dance.
What good is melody? What good is music if it ain't possessing something sweet? It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
It's a breakthrough year for Broadway, and I think that we have to broaden our definition of what we think musical theater is.
A musical can encompass so many things, and that embraces, you know, all forms of dancing and movement and poetry and just things that we didn't used to call musicals.
If you set up that atmosphere where people can try things and not be afraid to take a chance, then you have a musical.
You can do anything in a musical. You know, you can get inside a person's head. You can make time go by with a line of a song.
This is the story of a love that flourished in a time of hate, of lovers no tyranny could separate.
For a song in a musical, the most important thing to get right first is the storyline. Aida is such a great story. It's a timeless tale of cross-cultural love. By and large, the greatest stories tend to be ones that have been around for a long time.
When we started calling producers and saying, would you like to read our new musical? It's called The Dead. People basically either hung up the phone or threw us out of their office or thought we were crazy. With The Dead, we tried to find a narrative so that the characters would choose songs that would reveal their souls.
Welcome to my party, you know what I need. Queenie's up for jazzing, Queenie's up for anything tonight.
Wild Party is based on a poem that was written by Joseph Moncure March. It was this scandalous poem that sort of celebrates the hedonistic impulses of the 1920s. And it's very intoxicating, very smart, wonderful source material.
Don't you dance with my party, you can't take away what's mine. Don't you know it's my party time for the devil to ride the jive.
All the characters in The Wild Party need. There's something lacking in each of their lives. And it just fascinated me. I thought, how would I look at that? How would I translate that in my own terms? I always start when I write a song with the beat. I have to find the heartbeat of the moment of the play.
You're looking at a woman who invented the walk. You know the walk? I invented that. You're looking at a female who has driven men to homicide. Would you like to die?
Deep rhythm captivates me, hot rhythm stimulates me. Can't help but swing it, boy, swing it, brother, swing.
I think a good choreographer first has to understand the whole picture.
A man is a two-face.
Boom. I researched swing for over a year. I didn't even do one single step until I had immersed myself in swing.
Swing is a beat. The heart of swing is all in the drum beat. The challenge is how to make it sound young and fresh in the year 2000.
5, 6, 7, and yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, hop, hop, bum, ba, ba, da, ba, da.
Choreography is really about how, when, and where, and why these characters move in the context of a musical story.
Man, it's hot. Bum, ba, dum, ba, dum, bum. As if the Pied Piper getting
And I think there are a lot of times when you're staging a number when you think, let's build to that moment of explosion. That moment when dance is the way in which the character needs to express themselves.
I consider myself a writer of dance.
5 on the bridge. 5, 6, 7, go.
And what I wanted to do is to show people how dance can tell a story and tell an important story in the musical theater.
You got trouble! Right here in River City! With a capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool! That stands for pool!
In The Music Man, the town really goes through a journey. What happens is Harold Hill comes and introduces music and fantasy to them. One of the ways to show this journey is through dance. Contact is 3 short stories about people's ability and inability to connect.
Contact is an odd duck and has no conventional musical book. In a conventional musical, the task is to construct the story so that the songs would be made possible. In this case, I had to construct the story so that the dance would be made possible. The main character in Contact is a man who is in crisis and realizes that if he's not able to make contact with another person, he's lost.
He is a character that has many obstacles to overcome before he can ask this girl to dance.
Ultimately, he discovers that he needs music and movement in order to be redeemed.
I think the only thing that music has to have is buoyancy. And I think you have to figure out what is the source of that buoyancy.
I think that at the heart of Broadway has to be a show-off quality. I mean, you really have to sort of say, somebody come in and just knock me out.
It's like getting on a ride when you go in a musical. And the music just gets underneath of that seat, and it takes them on a ride up until 11 o'clock at night.
Broadway musical, the happiest 2 words in the English language, if you don't count open bar and multiple orgasms. Now, here to present the Tony for Best Choreography, that merry murderess from Chicago, 2-time Tony winner, B.B. Newworth.
It's been a sensational year on Broadway for dance. In fact, there hasn't been a season with so much great dancing in it since the heydays of Bob Fosse and Michael Bennett. From the pool hall in Contact to a back alley in Baltimore, it's been wall-to-wall dancing. In the year of dance, the nominees for Best Choreography are Kathleen Marshall for Kiss Me, Kate. Susan Stroman for Contact. Susan Stroman for Meredith Wilson's The Music Man. And Lynn Taylor Corbett for Swing. And the 2000 Tony for Best Choreography goes to Susan Stroman for Contact. This year's new musicals proved once again that a Broadway musical can be based on just about anything. A poem, a chance visit to a downtown dance club, a James Joyce classic, and even Medea, or Medea if you're very pretentious. Those were the inspirations for this year's nominees for Best Book of a Musical, who are John Weidman for Contact, Richard Nelson for James Joyce's The Dead, Michael John LaChiusa for Marie Christine, and Michael John LaChiusa and George C. Wolfe for The Wild Party. And the 2000 Tony for Best Book of a Musical goes to James Joyce's The Dead, book Richard Nelson.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Well, I was in the neighborhood.
Thanks for stopping by. 4 new musicals have been nominated for tonight for Best Original Score. I can't remember what they are.
Oh, honey, of course you can. All you have to do is memorize this little sentence. Marie Christine went to a wild party where she sang Aida loud enough to wake the dead.
Wait, so you mean...
Yes, I mean the nominees for Best Original Score are... Aida, music Elton John, lyrics Tim Rice. Music Sean Davey, lyrics Richard Nelson and Sean Davey for James Joyce's The Dead. Not to be confused with James Brown's The Dead. Huh! I feel dead. No pulse. Music and lyrics, Michael John LaChiusa for Marie Christine. And music and lyrics by Michael John LaChiusa for The Wild Party. He's a busy boy.
Yes. And the American Theatre Wing's Tony Award goes to Aida, music Elton John, lyrics Tim Rice.
And now the category you've all been waiting for, Best Orchestrations. You know, not many people realize that orchestration is everything. Before My Fair Lady was orchestrated, it sounded like Vaccination Day at the Dog Pound. I kid you not. Here to explain is the award-winning conductor of such Broadway shows as Grease in Chicago and Miss Rosie O'Donnell's favorite band leader, John McDaniel.
Hey. Thanks, Nathan. What's an orchestration, you may ask? Let me show you. Irving Berlin wrote this simple melody for Annie Get Your Gun. You may recognize it. Berlin wrote it, and then he turned it over to an orchestrator who wrote musical parts for strings, horns, reeds, and percussion until, Shazam, you got this. Elliot? Excellent. That's what an orchestration is. And this year's 4 nominees for Best Orchestrations are Doug Besterman for Meredith Wilson's The Music Man, Don Sebesky for Kiss Me, Kate, Jonathan Tunick for Marie Christine. And Harold Wheeler for Swing. And the 2000 Tony for Best Orchestrations goes to Don Sebesky for Kiss Me Cage.
So, you see that big-ass medallion over in the middle of the stage? If it weren't for scenic designers, it wouldn't be here. Instead, it would be around Snoop Doggy Dogg's neck. Now, let's meet the nominees for Best Scenic Design.
When I start my work, the theater's bare. You have a bare floor and a bare back wall, and that's about it. So you make models of what you intend to do, and then you make more models. You then make more little models. You usually then make some more little models, which sometimes get into be bigger little models. Finally, you'd have those built, and they appear months later on stage. In Music Man, we wanted to create an idealized version of the town in turn-of-the-century America. We wanted to create that town without irony, with real earnestness, with love.
Kiss Me Kate had a different set of problems than anything I've ever done, which was to make the backstage set totally real, naturalistic. It's steel, it's grating. Those doors you can slam. And it's so rigid, the actors can actually climb up the face of it. On the other hand, we wanted to make the play within the play clearly 1948 scenery. It's canvas and wood. They don't even make scenery out of canvas and wood anymore. If you slam one of the doors of the play within the play, the whole thing could fall down.
With the design for Vanya, it was important to have the audience feel that this place's time has passed. Vanya's house is kind of falling down around their ears. As we take the audience further and further into the depths of the interior of the house, we're kind of entrapped, as Vanya and Sonia are, in the belly of this place that they're left alone in.
With the design for Aida, I wanted to get away as far as I possibly could from people's preconceived ideas of what ancient Egypt is like. I wanted to kind of obliterate that and start from scratch. I try and give it a kind of a modern look. I wanted to reflect the world that you walk out into in Times Square. It's a kinetic world. What's important is that you know how to dream and hanging on to those dreams as well. That's what being a designer is about.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me now to present the Tony Awards for Best Scenic Design and Best Lighting Design is last year's Tony-winning star of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Please welcome the adorable, the tantalizing, you know her, you love her, you just want to put her on a Ritz and eat her, Kristen Chenoweth. Welcome back to the Tonys, Kristen. And you know, you should hold on to that Tony you won, because if you collect 3, you can trade up to one of the big ones like Snoop's.
I'll take it. This year's nominees for Best Scenic Design have conjured up a Norman Rockwell dream of a small Iowa town in 1912.
Ancient Egypt by way of Times Square and Las Vegas.
A decaying country estate in long-ago Russia.
And a theater within a theater for a play within a play in 1948 in downtown Baltimore.
And the nominees for Best Scenic Design are Bob Crowley for Aida, Thomas Lynch for Meredith Wilson's The Music Man, Robin Wagner for Kiss Me, Kate, and Tony Walton for Uncle Vanya.
And the American Theater Wing's Tony goes to Bob Crowley, Aida. You know, a good lighting designer can change the mood faster than a bipolar birthday clown. That's what my mother always said.
At my 12th birthday, Coco, the borderline schizophrenic.
Oh, I had him, yeah.
Oh, right. Let's meet this season's nominees for Best Lighting Design.
One of the great things about lighting design is that it is very satisfying artistically, while at the same time there's a lot of technical work that goes on. But all of that really goes back to closing your eyes, thinking what you want it to look like, and then putting the lights in those places. The challenge of lighting Aida was that we did have a lot of different looks. It's Elton John's music, it's rock and roll, so there's lighting that is contemporary and sort of MTV in feel. But it also takes place in Egypt. In the scenes where they're washing the clothes, the light has a lot of yellow, orange in it. You can feel the heat.
I love composing the whole picture on stage. I love pointing up a particular emotional event that's happening on stage. I really do feel like I have the audience's eyes in my custody. The biggest challenge in Kiss Me, Kate was to be sure that we delineated the two different worlds. So the lighting backstage was unadorned, highly textural. And then to turn it around into a sort of luminescent, pastel-colored, very romantic world of the play within the play.
Light has great psychological power. And as lighting designers, we manipulate the illumination on a stage to allow the audience to feel the emotion in the story. In Wild Party, we tried to emulate the film noir shadow light that was done in Hollywood and in many black and white films.
Wild Party was George Wolfe's vision of a nightmare. As the party intensifies, the environment expressed through lighting leaves reality behind.
We don't want the audience to know what we're doing. We're just trying to communicate feelings.
Oh, talk about a wild party. I just walked by Dame Edna's dressing room. She needed me to help zip her up.
And in her case, that could mean a couple different things.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
What would the theater be without its group designers? Artists whose medium is light and shadow, shadings of color and the absence of color.
What would it be? I'll tell you what it would be. Radio. It's the first rule of the theater. Don't forget to turn on the lights.
Right, right.
And these nominees for Best Lighting Design didn't.
And the nominees are Jules Fisher and Peggy Eisenhower for The Wild Party. Schulz, Fisher, and Peggy Eisenhower for Marie Christine. Peter Kazarowski for Kiss Me, Kate. And Natasha Katz for Aida.
And the 2000 Tony for Best Lighting Design goes to Natasha Katz, Aida. Moving on to costume design. Kristen, what was the most outrageous costume you've ever had to wear?
Well, let's see. One time I had to wear a rainbow wig, fuzzy slippers, and a pair of rubber culottes.
Oh, really? What show was that?
Oh, no show. It was just an old relationship.
Say goodnight, Kristen. Let's meet the nominees for Best Costume Design, shall we?
You know, a costume designer is the person who works with the actor. The gossipy ladies of the town are sort of like a gaggle of chickens. And the clothes underscore their fluttery nature.
The Green Bird is an 18th century fairy tale for adults. It's a fantasy, and having a fantasy as your starting point is a liberating experience for a designer. It gives you every possibility. The masks are designed by Julie Taymor. They're beautiful character statements, and that immediately presents a challenge to answer that in the clothing. Tartaglia the King is a kind of sulky prince character. And out of that, the idea of this white suit evolved. I loved that suit because it made him into this kind of childish Italian playboy.
I'm the set and costume designer for Aida. It's unusual for someone to do both, but I'm a control freak. Costume can give an audience a lot of information about a character and their state of mind. For instance, Amneris is a girl who likes to shop. If she likes something, she'll buy 10 of them in the same color. So we have a very elaborate fashion show for her.
In Kiss Me, Kate, we wanted to really hit the audience with the fact that this was a play about people putting on a play. And hopefully the clothes were going to help them understand who those people were. One of the things that's especially fun with the principal characters is that they've all got this great theatrical vanity. And so you have to see it in their street clothes with snappy suits and cute little dresses, and then even more exaggerated in the Elizabethan clothing. The whole design is the memory you want people to bring home, to come out and go, what a show. What a fantastic show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most gifted woman in the entertainment industry, Dame Edna Everidge.
Yes, it really is me. I'm not a clone. I'm not a look-alike. I'm not a Julie Taymor puppet. I'm real. I'm not a musical either. No, I'm the only Broadway show to be closing voluntarily. How about that? But prior to
my beautiful national tour. This frock, of course, you couldn't have helped but notice, is my little tribute to Levalor. It's my Levalor frock, and it was designed by my brilliant son, Kenny. And well, of course, he should have won the Tony tonight, but unfortunately, because I'm presenting, he's been cheated of his award. He's probably down there in Chelsea with his friends, sobbing into his Cosmopolitan right now. He probably is. Never mind, Kenny, next year, darling. Well, we're coming to these awards in this age of nudity in the theatre. Costumes become more and more important. I don't wear a costume. I just wear street clothes in my show. As a matter of fact, I do the housework in this. And I'm going to read out these exciting nominations. The 4 nominees are Bob Crowley for Aida. Constance Hoffman for The Green Bird. William Ivy Long for Meredith Willson's The Music Man. And Martin Pacaldinas for Kiss Me Kate. And the 2000 Tony for the best costume design goes to Martin Pacaldinas. Kiss Me Kate. Congratulations, darling.
This is about me right now. I hope this isn't coming out in my 45 seconds, but one winter night last year, Robin... Okay, I'll just do it. Roger Berlin called me, and he offered me the chance to work on this tremendous musical, Kiss Me Kate, with Michael Blakemore, Kathleen Marshall, Robin Wagner, and an incredible family of old friends and new friends. And that, just to do the show, was the reward. So all of this is fantastic. I thank you for it. But I have to say, she's my interpreter, so I hope you can follow. I have to say that this is for everyone who touched the show, uptown, downtown, east side, down in the basement, in the stairwells, changing clothes, because as we know, this is a show that came from a family, the Kiss Me Kate. Thank you very much.
I think they'll be very happy together. She is a grande dame, huh? Talk about taller than a dwarf. Now, on to the directors. Put simply, the director runs the whole show. Think of a production as a big, delicious casserole. The actors, the designers, and the script are the ingredients, and the director is the glue that holds the casserole together and gives it that strange, bitter taste. Here are this year's Tony-nominated directors of a musical.
A director's job is to bring a terrific team of people together and then be flexible enough to allow the vision to evolve.
Cast
Casting, I think, is probably the hardest thing of all in putting a musical together, because you've got to find people who can do it all. They have got to dance and they have got to act. In Music Man, what I needed to do is let those actors feel as if they were working on a brand new musical and creating new parts for the first time.
Drama, dance, and music is the most potent combination that the theatre offers. And it's very thrilling because you're juggling 3 balls in the air at once.
Oh, boy, Dame Enda just won't stop. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anne Reinking, the director and co-choreographer of last year's Tony Award-winning musical, Fosse.
Thank you very much. The director of a Broadway musical is like the captain of a multi-million-dollar ship that is 100% certain to sink like a rock to the bottom of the sea if he or she fails to do the job correctly. From Casserole to the Titanic, this is pretty tough stuff. Which is to whip up the whole crew into pulling together, to bringing their storm-tossed craft safely to the harbor known as Standing Room Only. And this year's nominees for the Best Direction of a Musical are Michael Blakemore for Kiss Me, Kate. Susan Stroman for Contact. Susan Stroman for Meredith Wilson's The Music Man. And Lynn Taylor Corbett for Swing. And the American Theater Wing's Tony Award goes to Michael Blakemore, Kiss Me, Kate.
And now let's meet the nominees for Best Direction of a Play.
One of the things that fascinates me about True West is this idea of divided personalities. And the two brothers are really just a graphic illustration of the opposing forces within all of us.
Copenhagen deals with atomic annihilation for the human race. That certainly makes us sit up a bit.
I think Dirty Blonde is different than most projects in that the person who's acting in the play also wrote it.
What draws me to The Real Thing is that it is a play about love that is not cynical, and therefore I think of it as a courageous play.
Here to present the award for Best Direction of a Play, 2-time Tony winner, Mr. Al Pacino.
Mr. Pacino won his 2 Tonys for Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie in 1969 and The Basic Training of Pablo Hummel in 1977.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. The one night of the year when all of us in this profession take a moment to honor, to recognize, and encourage excellence in the theater. So now to the directors. The work of the lighting people, the costumes, set, even the actors, is instantly visible to the audience's eye. It's accessible, it's tangible. But with a director, it's somehow different. Usually the best direction is the direction you can't see. It's almost imperceptible to the audiences, which is probably why it is the most elusive, subtle of theater crafts. Now, who are these people? What do they do? Well, the director usually helps encourage the writer to shape the play. Also, the director casts the play with actors, mostly actors, usually. He tries to bring the actors to their highest creative potential. And this is not easy since actors are different. Some actors would rather be left alone, others enjoy collaboration. Still others have to be sweet-talked and cajoled and almost coaxed into their roles. Now, the director must do all that at the same time, bring together the entire production while maintaining his or her own vision of the play, satisfying both the playwright's needs and intentions, and ultimately hoping to bring the audience to its feet in appreciation. This is not an easy job. And so it is with great respect and a little bit of awe I present to you the nominees for Best Direction of a Play. First, Michael Blakemore for Copenhagen. James Lapine for Dirty Blonde. David Laveau for The Real Thing. And Matthew Marches for True West. And the 2000 Tony for Direction goes to Michael Blakemore, Copenhagen.
All I can say is, thank you, America. And of course, by America, I mean New York.
There you have it, the first 10 Tony Awards.
Oh, so we're done. That's fantastic. I'll get home in time to prune my bonsai.
Is that a euphemism? Listen, we're not done. We're just beginning. The Tony Awards continue right now on CBS.
To be honest, Rosie, I'm a little scared. Have you ever been with two networks in the same night?
Stay close to me, I'll go gentle. Turn the channel, folks. CBS. Turn the channel, CBS. Turn the channel, CBS. We'll be on CBS.